Alright boys, so this is how you deal with ribs. So let's say you've got a rack of ribs here, and as you can see, it's pretty big, right? You're thinking, this will never fit into my toaster oven, and this will never fit into my air fryer. Okay, so this is how you deal with it. So you get your knife, and you cut it into, you can, like, for example, cut it into what you would eat for one meal. So for example, let me cut it in half first to make it more manageable. Put that over there. So you see this piece, okay? So you flip it over and you can see the bones, and you can see where there's a gap in between the bones. So let's say that you intend to eat 2 of these ribs for your meal. Okay, so you just count out the 2 ribs that you want. 1, 2, and you can cut it right there. See that? So this is actually 2 bones worth. Alright, put that aside. And let's say if you are particularly hungry and you wanted 3 bones. So here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bones here. So let's say you wanted 3. So you just cut it like that, where you got 3 bones. Okay. And then here you've got another 2 bone piece. Great. And then back to the other half. I've got 5 here. Okay, so we'll cut it into a 3 and a 2. All right, so maybe right here. Okay, so now we've got 3 here, and then we've got 2 here. Okay, looks good. So this is how you would deal with it. So let's say you've got this 3 bone piece, right? Okay. Let me move this over. I'll wash real quick. All right. You get some aluminum foil. Good size piece. Like that. Okay. Put that down there. All right. Now you can season it with anything you want. Standard salt and pepper with some garlic powder, that works. You typically would want some type of vinegar. It adds a good flavor to it. So I have used a little bit of white vinegar, just brush it on. But what also works is, like, if you get yellow mustard, it's got the vinegar and it's not as liquidy. It's a bit more saucy, so it'll stick to the meat better. And you've got paprika, garlic powder, salt, black pepper, and brown sugar. You could use honey, and you could just use white sugar if you don't have brown sugar. But it's just some sweetness. Okay. So we got our 3 bone piece here. Put it so the back side is more bony, and then the top side is more meaty. So put the meaty side down first. Okay. Then a little bit of mustard, like that. Rub it on. Okay, good. Then some salt. Some brown sugar. Some garlic powder. Some paprika. And that's it for the bone side. Wish it down if you want. Then you flip that over onto the meat side. Same thing. A little bit of mustard for the vinegary. Some salt. And of course you adjust to your taste. So if you like it salty, just add a little more salt. Some brown sugar. Or honey, if you wanted to use honey. Garlic powder. And some paprika. Okay, and let me wash it up. Then, on the meat side, I'll add a little pepper. And that's it for the seasoning. So you fold it up. So if you have a pan to put this on for your toaster oven, then it's okay but try your best not to poke holes into the aluminum foil. If you have a pan to hold this, it's not that big of a deal, but still it's not good because you're letting out all the juices. So as you're folding, and especially if you have an air fryer, you definitely don't want to break any holes into the foil, because when you put it into your air fryer, it'll just drip all down. So try to do it carefully, not puncturing the foil, because you do have bones in here. Okay. Okay. Wrap that up. And as you can see, it's not that large of a package anymore. If you compare it to my hand, I mean, it just fits right onto my hand. It's not, so unwieldy anymore. So, see, I pushed it too hard. Now I punctured it a little bit. Sucks. Let me get another piece of foil to compensate for that. So, yeah, see, there it is. All right. Wrap it in again. You do not want any holes. Sucks to be me. All right. So, see, it's no longer unwieldy like that full rack. Very manageable. And then you would put this either in your toaster oven or your air fryer. So let's do that. We'll put it in there. Let's see. Okay, so move this out of the way. Move this out of the way. Lights on. So I'll put it at anywhere in between 350, about 350. Turn that on. See? And then the whole package. Just put it in. Leave it in there for maybe maybe an hour at least. If you happen to have the timer for something else right now, but if you like a more meaty, chewier rib, then you can leave it in there for maybe an hour. If you like it more tender, maybe go for an hour and a half to 2 hours. But that's not the end of it. So let's say, for example, we do an hour. What we would then do is take it out, open it up, so that you expose the top, put that back in there, and then go to broil. 450 broil. And same thing with the air fryer. You would do the exact same thing. You would just open up the top to roast up the top. And then when you go to do that, you'll probably roast it for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video here, and then an hour to an hour and a half later, we'll come back and we'll take a look. Oh, I also wanted to show you another way of doing it, where you would use either a teriyaki or a barbecue or a char siu sauce. So let's say we have a teriyaki marinade sauce like this. I don't find this one to be particularly good, but it's what we've got. So, shake it up. So here's one of our other pieces that we've cut up. Again, meaty side down for the first marinade, or the first coating. So I a little bit of this stuff, that, rub it through. Okay, but even with that, I find that even though it's salty, I find I need just a little bit more salt. Okay, and then same thing on the other side. So now we have the meaty side up. Some BBQ, some teriyaki. I happen to think char siu is the best flavor for this, but I don't have that. Sucks. Okay, and a little more salt. All right, and then and same thing. You wrap it up. Everything that I said about the first one applies to this one as well. And we can even put it into the same toaster oven. Let's go do that. Alright, so that one is in there. I have it situated horizontally. We just rotate it 90 degrees. Then we can get this guy to fit in there too. Alright, so now we've got two of them in there. And again, maybe an hour to an hour and a half. Okay, back over here. So, now you've got these, right? these other pieces that we still have. So what do you do with those? Do this. Oh, you could, if you wanted to, you could cook them. Similar to the way we prepared the other two pieces. You could do the same with these. Cook them up and then slap them into the freezer. So you would Ziploc them cooked. But if you didn't want to do that, you could Ziploc them raw. Put them in the freezer. And then when it comes time to cook, it's the same concepts, but you just have to thaw it first. But with a Ziploc, it's easy thawing, right? All right, there's one. Two. And three. So now you've got frozen raw spare ribs that you can take out, thaw, and cook at your leisure. Look at that. All right, so the ribs are in the oven, in our little toaster oven, or an air fryer, same thing. And we'll be back in about an hour to see how it is. All right, it's been about an hour. Let's take a look. Okay, open it up here. It's starting to cook up. Okay, I'm going to fold this down a little bit, and the only reason we have to do this is because of our limited space due to putting in 2 sets of ribs. So fold it up like so. Get sort of a tray, a container, basically. Okay, see that? So slap that back in there. As I said, you have to open it up. Got a little leakage. Some of the juice there. All right. Now let's look at the other one. This was the original one that I had the puncture in. Let's see what it's looking like. Okay, so it's like that. It's not ready to eat yet, and you don't want it to be cooked at that level because we know that you have to roast it, so you don't want it to be overcooked. So fold it up. Sort of like a tray. So that we can have the top exposed without losing all of our juices. Okay, and then put this back in there. All right, good. crank it up. We'll go to 400 for like maybe 5 more minutes, and then we'll set it to broil for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. So we'll be back. All right, it's been about 5 minutes or so. Let's take a look. Oh, it's looking pretty good. Let's see. Okay, you can hear it sizzling. All right, let's get a little closer. Yeah. Now it's time to roast. Okay. So back in there. Actually, for the teriyaki, I might want to add a little more teriyaki to it. Alright, so again, not that this is a particularly good brand, and not that I'm endorsing them, I just happen to have it. Okay, pour a little bit. Okay, push that in. Right, like so. Great. Put that back in there. Set it to broil, and broil it for anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, maybe more if you need it. And we'll be back to check. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes, and we had it on broil. Let's take a look. Oh, that's looking so good. It's looking so juicy. Look at the bubbling. Oh, well, that's good. Okay. Now, because the teriyaki piece we put in is it was a bit thinner, so it looks like it's ready to go. See, so you can just take that piece out. Yeah. And then for the thicker piece that we had, where we had the mustard and all of these seasonings on it, we can put it back in. Maybe I can resituate it again and roast it up for, I don't know, it looks like it can take another 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes. All right, so this is the teriyaki one. We'll let it rest, and we'll come back after 2 or 3 minutes to get that guy, and we'll see what we've got. All right, it's been about 4 minutes or so, 3-4 minutes. Let's take a look. Can you hear the crackling? Oh. It's looking pretty good. All right. So I had taken the teriyaki one off and put it on a board to rest. Now we can do the same with this guy. Take this out like so. And it's looking pretty good. Now you see the juices that are underneath there? You can pour that juice over your rice. It'll be fantastic. Alright, so let's wait for this to sit about 5 minutes. Don't cut into it immediately, and we'll take a look. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes now. So let's take a look at what we've got. You can see I poured out the juice right there. So if you pour that over your rice, it'll be fantastic. And you can even use it to dip your ribs into as you're eating. Okay. So if we cut into these, so if you'll recall, I think they were both 3-bone pieces, right? So, you know, just see which way is the bones curve. And you can see there. Very nice. And then with the dry rub, basically down there, cut it like that. So you can see they're very manageable. You know, even though it's a you know, we got a rack of ribs, still, you know, if you cut it up like that and cook it, you know, toaster oven or a air fryer is very manageable and very doable. Look at that. Okay, let me taste the piece. Let's see. I'll just take this end piece over here. Man, that's so good. That's so tasty. It's so juicy. It's so tender and roasty. And as you can see, there really wasn't much work to it. You just cut it, season it, and you slap it into the oven, whether you have a toaster oven or an air fryer, same thing. You leave it in there for, I don't know, hour and a half total, and then that's it. And you have a delicious meal. There's not a lot of work, really. All right, I hope you make it. Oh, and I forgot to mention. So we see here that we have 6 ribs. If you happen to have wanted to cook the entire rack, but, you know, in subsections, like cook a third of it at a time, whatever can fit into your small oven, then you cut it up like this, and you can Ziploc that into your freezer, and you can take out as many ribs as you want for a snack or your next meal or whatever. So see, it's all cooked. To heat it up, you put it right back into the toaster oven at, I don't know, 250, 300 for about 20 minutes. It'll be as if it's fresh. And same thing with the air fryer. Slap it frozen. Don't worry about thawing because it's already cooked. You just slap it straight from freezer to toaster oven or freezer to air fryer. Put it in at 300 degrees, 10 to 20 minutes, and you're good. And it'll be this juicy.